we're gonna react to, I don't have anybody here with me, but we're gonna react to Reddit stories on TikTok. I'm gonna have them read it out to me, but I'm just gonna do my regular makeup routine and we're gonna react to some stories. This is my regular makeup routine, so I'm not doing anything special. I was gonna do maybe some cool like eyeliner stuff that I have on Pinterest, saved on Pinterest, but that shit, I'm not doing it. Okay, first story we have is, my wife hates my female best friend.
My wife hates my female best friend. I have a friend called Sarah who I've known since childhood and has been there for me my whole life. I owe her my life and she's always been my go-to when I have problems. We slept once when we were in high school, but that's all. My wife has never liked Sarah since I had her as best woman at my wedding. She calls her a pick-me. She went as far to suggest I cut her out of my life when she became pregnant with her first child, but we worked through it in couples therapy. Their relationship got better when Sarah got married last year, but unfortunately Sarah's husband just up and left a pregnant Sarah, which has made her mental health spiral. Since Sarah has always been there for me, I've stepped up for her by taking her to appointments, building the nursery, and even promising to be with her when she gives birth. My wife has become extremely hostile to Sarah, which has caused fights. To make up for not being there as much as I should, have planned a special birthday for my wife. It was going to be a whole day and night being treated like a celebrity with a fancy hotel, dinner in an expensive restaurant, a shopping trip, and a spa. Unfortunately, the same day Sarah went into labor 6 weeks early. She rang me in a bad state begging me to come to the hospital because she was scared. I told my wife everything and she started to freak out and saying it was her day, that Sarah wasn't going to ruin it. I told her to stop being childish. We can celebrate another time, or she could ask a friend to go. Then she told me to not come home without a paternity test for Sarah's child.
Oh.
I'm currently with Sarah in the delivery ward. I've been getting so many angry calls and texts from both our families and friends. Unfortunately, I tried getting in touch with my wife, but I'm blocked on everything.
I've seen this story before. I think I did comment on this TikTok as well.
Edit. Hi Warren, this is your wife Ella. First off, Sarah doesn't have a husband because she cheated on him and doesn't know who the dad is. Even your own parents think it is you. Sarah has no friends because she's rude to all the women in your life for no reason. She has slept with or flirted with multiple male members of your friend group. Your male friend group passes her around like a cigarette. I'm currently out at a nice restaurant with your mom and sister while your dad boxes up stuff to take to Sarah's. I want a divorce and Sarah to be finally out of my life.
That one was wild. What the f? Oh my god, like, bro, it's always the men in here that are like such L people. They're so, oh my god. Like, I remember why I commented. I was like, the update is crazy because hello, his wife saw that and commented on it. Bro, like, you must feel like a idiot right now. What? Oh my god. I remember I watched it. I was on my phone and I watched it on TikTok. Like, oh my, imagine being OP right now. Like, imagine being his wife, first of all, but like, imagine being him. Like, damn, he got like the domes, and thank god that his family's like not supporting him, because he wants to be there for Sarah. Thank god. But yeah, I commented, the update is crazy. Next TikTok is, I keep flirting with my brother on Instagram. I have not seen this one, so I'm really scared. I'm really scared how this is gonna go.
I keep flirting with my brother on Instagram. I am a 24-year-old woman and my brother is 27. Around 2 years ago, when I first joined Instagram on my old account, I posted a lot of steamy pictures of my body, but not of my face. I am fairly confident in my body and didn't mind showing it off at the time. I'd post at least twice a day and get a bunch of messages. One guy kept commenting and messaging me, telling me I was hot and how much he loved my body. For some reason I kept talking to him and we basically developed an intimate relationship and sent each other hot messages all the time, but we never showed our faces.
Oh
He was
shit.
very nice and sweet to me even when we weren't talking about intimacy. I was very private about my identity. I even made up a name and location as to where I lived. I thought it was a bit weird that this guy had the same name as my brother. Although my brother is very good looking and would definitely bang if he wasn't my brother. Anyways, the guy I was texting also lived in the same state as my brother, but figured it was simply a coincidence. For his birthday a few months after we met, he sent me a pic of himself without a shirt on and his PP out. He then asked me if I wanted to see the new tattoo he got for his 25th birthday. The thing is, I was in my living room downstairs celebrating my brother's 25th birthday. He sent me a picture of his tattoo and it was the same tattoo my brother showed me earlier that day. It was the same bathroom, same shower curtains, same hair products, same perfume, same toothbrush colors, same everything. I was mortified, but I didn't stop. My brother really is a hot guy and I liked what he had believed at the equator. I couldn't help myself, so for the past 2 years I've continued to text him. Even though I eventually got a boyfriend, I didn't stop texting him. The worst part? I still touch myself to his pics on occasion.
Oh my, holy, oh my, I'm getting, I'm so uncomfortable right now. Are you kidding me? And it's a younger sister and an older brother. Are you fucking kidding me? That is, oh my god. the comment is, the way my jaw was on the floor. Me. Last part was crazy. Oh my god. Okay, well, oh my god. Okay, this one, I've also seen this one. When he was drunk, he confessed that he found me repulsive.
When he was drunk, he confessed that he found me repulsive. My husband and I have been married for 2 years, but have been together for 5. Recently, we were invited to my sister-in-law's birthday. We were having drinks and my husband was getting drunk. He doesn't usually drink, so he gets drunk easily. I love him when he's a little bit groggy because he's very shy otherwise, but it allows him to let loose a little. My sister-in-law calls herself incurably single and she often laments about not meeting the one. She's very picky and she's always pointing out the flaws of her dates. Well, she was doing that, and after complaining about her latest hookup, my husband interrupted her. He knew the guy in question apparently, and he disagreed with how she, the sister, perceived the guy. They were sparring for a little and everyone was laughing because my sister-in-law is a very funny lady and so is my husband. Finally, my husband told her that she was very high maintenance and always concentrated on the negative things. He then said to take him for example. He found me repulsive the first night we spent together. But he stuck it out and was determined to know me more instead of throwing me away because he's an adult now and needed to start acting like one. And now look at me. I'm the happiest man on earth. My sister-in-law laughed and told him that's not how she worked. I thought what he said was horrible. The most horrible thing anybody has said about me, and yet no one listening and seemed to react at all. Like it was a totally normal thing to say, so I just said that I didn't know that's how he felt about me. I remember him going away on a trip the day after we slept together for the first time and he wasn't available for 3 weeks. I started pondering. Was he actually away or did he try to ghost me? On our way home I asked him if he really went on that trip and he smiled guilty and said no, his plan was actually to not see me again. But there was something strong that made him contact me again. And that he was lucky he did because I turned out to be the love of his life. He was starting to fidget in his seat and asked me if something was wrong and asked, surely you're not hurt by what I said. I told him that it was the most appalling thing I've ever heard, and to hear it coming from him. I haven't spoken to him since Saturday. I don't know if I want him anymore.
Period.
We have a son together, 18 months and a dog. I don't want to hurt our son. I'm trying to keep it together, but I just feel so numb. Will time heal something like this, or am I lying to myself? He says he's sorry. He even cried when he saw me crying, and I've only seen him crying once before when his dad passed away. I don't know what to do.
Girl, wake up and break up, okay? I've been seeing so many TikToks of Reddit stories, and they need to realize that, bro, men just settle. They just settle. And I was just watching something and I forgot what it was. I think it was a Reddit story on TikTok, but I forgot what it said. But he just said that OP was a girl and the guy, her boyfriend, was like, I'm just gonna have to stick it out and stay with her. I'm like, no bitch, no you don't. And they've been in a relationship for like 8-10 years and he's just like, I'm gonna just have to stick it out and marry her. No, don't. No, you do not. Okay? Bro, I hate reading the guys' stories on here because, like, when they just open their mouth, it's just like, shut up. Shut up. I've been married for a year to my wife and I'm still a virgin. I recently found out why.
I've been married for a year to my wife and I'm still a virgin. I recently found out why. My wife and I got married in February of last year. We had been dating for 4 years prior to getting married. During that time, we hadn't been intimate or anything close to it. We kissed, cuddled, and done things like that, but nothing more. She told me she was waiting for marriage, which was fine with me. I was happy with that because I had always known we'd get married. Fast forward to the wedding day, and I was about to explode from excitement. Firstly, I was marrying the woman of my dreams. Secondly, we were finally going to be intimate. The wedding itself was really nice. It was a pretty basic ceremony in a small chapel with only close family, followed by a meal at her parents' house. We then went back to my wife's house, and I was ready for it, but she said she was too tired after a long day. No problem, I thought, just one more day. The next morning, I woke up, and she had already gone out. I had no idea what time she left, and there was just a note on the fridge saying she was at her parents' house. This detail is important for later. That was almost a year ago. Every time I've tried to discuss the subject, she's either been too tired, upset, not in the mood, or had some variation of these excuses. At one point, she accused me of being obsessed with intimacy because I used to ask about it most days. I've taken her on many romantic date nights, but as soon as intimacy was mentioned, she became put off because she believed it should be spontaneous. So I tried spontaneously engaging, but she accused me of attempting to force her if she didn't give consent beforehand. I was so confused, to say the least. Over the years, I had grown closer to one of her friends, and we went out for coffee one week. After some chit-chatting, she asked how the bedroom life was
Oh
going.
god.
When I confessed that we had never done anything, she was really shocked. I thought, who wouldn't be shocked about a married couple where they were both still virgins? But no, she was shocked because her friend, my wife, had been incredibly promiscuous before she met me. According to the friend, she used to have all sorts of intimate experiences with various people. She estimated at least 14 lovers that she knew about. This left me even more confused. I wondered if I was just undesirable and why she had married me if I wasn't attractive enough for her. After talking some more to her friend, she suggested I sit down and have a serious conversation with my wife. Fast forward, and I finally sat down with my wife last Sunday after she spent the night at her parents' house the day before. You'll later understand why this matters. At first, she was completely unreceptive, but I asked her to listen and let me talk without interrupting. She agreed. I talked to her calmly, telling her that I wanted to love her in every way possible. I told her that I married her because I loved all of her, and that I wanted to know what was going on with her. I mentioned that I knew about how active she was in the past and wanted to know why those people could be with her wholly, but I couldn't. My talk lasted for almost an hour, and she listened without interrupting. As I talked, she started crying. She didn't sob or break down. Instead, she was quiet, and tears rolled down her cheeks. This honestly made something inside me break, and I began crying too. I rarely cry. After I finished talking, we sat and looked at each other for some time. I could see that she was thinking. She just silently shook her head. At that moment, things nearly fell apart, and I asked if she wanted me to contact a solicitor on Monday to begin divorce proceedings. She fully broke down then. She cried so hard, sobbing, that she ended up as a ball on the floor. This shocked me. I had never seen her like that before. I don't remember doing it, but I ended up on the floor cuddling her while she cried. And then the dam broke. That's when she finally confessed something that broke my heart. Her dad, Dave, wasn't her real dad. Her biological dad left when she was 5, and Dave entered her life when she was 7. I never knew this. I just knew him as her dad. Dave was the perfect dad for years,
Oh no.
by her memory. He took her out for ice cream, looked after her when she was sick, spent money on her, and bought her nice things. All the normal dad stuff. However, when she was 14, he began to touch her. His excuse, apparently, was that she was a developing young woman and she was a temptation for all men. So, who better than someone that loves her? As you can guess, this developed to him coming to her bed late at night. When she was 17, he started to take her out and allow his friends to have fun with her. One of these friends went around bragging about it. When word got out, my wife got tarnished with a few nasty monikers that I'll let you imagine. Her friend, the one I had coffee with, heard about it, and other conquests through the grapevine. Those were the 14 lovers the friend had known about. She knew my wife at the time, but they weren't really friends until college. When the friend tried to ask my wife about it, my wife shrugged it off. When she was about to head off to university, Dave bought a house around the corner from him for her to live in. This is the house we have been living in for the past few years. He would make regular visits to her here and keep financial control over her bank account and the fact that he owned the house. Dave wasn't happy when my wife met me, and insisted that she not sleep with me. Me being a virgin, made that sell easier, I guess. He threatened to expose her, kick her out of the house and cut her off. This continued until our engagement. Keep in mind I had actually asked that man for his daughter's hand in marriage and he acted thrilled. He even gave me an expensive bottle of whiskey to celebrate. Dave promised my wife that he would end the arrangement when we got married, and even give her a parting gift by transferring the house into her name and giving her a cash present. Safe to say that didn't happen. He decided that she was too good for me. On our wedding day, he demanded intimacy on the spot. Our wedding day. Then, he told her to come over the following day, which is where she was the morning she disappeared. He told her, while he ate her, that he wouldn't tolerate another man using her body and that I wasn't allowed to touch her. When he was done with her, she left and cried all day. She even thought about ending herself. When I heard that, I very nearly lost it. I'm not a small guy. I'm 6 feet 3 inches and well built.
I'm gonna cry.
Rip this animal apart. My wife stopped me and continued. Her swimming, although some think she was using it as a cover, was legit. She swims daily as it's her way of coping. She then told me the regular visits to her parents' house are actually for him. As in, the day before we had this conversation, she was once again being used by her father. There was more. So much more. My heart hurt. Hell, my very soul hurts. I didn't sleep at all that night. And I have this burning anger and hatred deep down. I still love her, but my soul feels like it's been torn apart. As soon as she got it all out, I contacted the police. They came to the house and took her statement. She gave names, dates, and showed phone records. She also showed written evidence from emails and a secure messenger that Dave insisted she used to chat with him. Everything. He and my wife's mother were arrested immediately. I've arranged for her to go to therapy with the first session being this week. I'm going to try and set things right and do whatever I can.
Oh,
We're getting the hell out of this house as soon as we can.
I'm gonna cry. Oh my god. I have goosebumps all over my body. Oh my, that was not a good video. Oh my god. Like, I'm gonna cry. Oh my gosh. Holy. Oh my god. I'm really sweaty now. Holy shit. Oh my god. I don't know. How do I react to that? Like, I mean, it's just like a true off my chest probably story, not like a confession sort of. But I feel so bad for all of them, honestly. Like, where was her mom this entire time, bro? Like, how do you let that happen to your daughter? Hello? I thought it was gonna be like, oh my god, I'm really sweaty. I'm gonna turn on the fan so y'all are gonna hear it, but hopefully you can't hear it that much. Oh my god, that is terrifying. Bro, it's all men. Besides him, the husband, oh my god, she's really lucky that she has him to lean on and to care for her. Bro, I can't. My heart hurts. Okay, next story. This one, what is your proudest accomplishment? I've read this one.
What's your proudest accomplishment? I beat the crap out of a pygmy girl who was trying to get with my husband. Sometimes I wish I had a time machine so I could go back and do it again. I want to start this off by mentioning that I'm a professional boxer. My husband of 6 years has also been training in combat sports for over a decade. After we got together, he took me to his training gym, where I met his female training partner who had been training with him for many years. She was the biggest pygmy I've seen in my life. On the first day, I stood quietly in a skirt watching them train. She came over and warmly asked, "Why don't you train with us?" He likes girls who are into sports. I smiled and replied, "No thanks." During the training, she constantly partnered with him and chatted with him during breaks. My husband and boyfriend ignored her and walked over to me, asking if I was bored waiting. I shook my head and told him that he looked really handsome while boxing. She followed us and put her arm around his shoulder, looking at me and saying, "We are all about violence. You probably don't like all this fighting and killing." She then positioned herself between me and my husband, turned away from me, and started asking him some boxing technique questions. My husband was getting a bit annoyed at this point, but he didn't want to be rude, so he told her they could discuss it later. After the break, she turned around, seeming to notice me for the first time, and said, "Ah, I see. You probably don't understand what we're talking about and find it boring, right?" I remained silent with a cold expression on my face. Later, my husband decided to change partners. During the break, she exaggeratedly said to me, "Are you really jealous of this too? It's just a normal training process. We don't mind male or female partners. We've been training like this for over a decade, don't be petty." I was getting infuriated, but I couldn't find the right way to confront her. A couple weeks later, we saw her again at the supermarket. She once again pushed me aside and latched onto my husband, chatting incessantly. I made the decision to walk away, and went to buy some snacks. My husband finally broke free from her, saying he needed to check on how I was doing. She trailed after him, spotted the snacks in my hands, and exclaimed, "Oh, how can you consume such junk food? You know it'll make you fat, right? A girl like me would never be caught with that in her hands. We, as boxers, maintain strict discipline and never indulge in such stuff," she added. I replied, "I take pleasure in eating what I fancy." Consequently, she initiated messaging my husband intermittently. This naturally infuriated me, and I urged my husband to stop responding to her. Feeling somewhat helpless, he remarked, "She's asking about training techniques. I can't just disregard her. We've shared a team for several years now. Every time she encountered me at the gym, she made it a point to announce, our messages revolve solely around training. Don't stress about it." During training sessions, she had the habit of clinging onto my husband, touching his shoulder and waist, while claiming she was correcting his training movements. My patience was on the brink of exhaustion. Once, when I joined my husband at the gym and slipped into sportswear, intending to participate in their training, she began her usual antics. Having trained at this gym for numerous years, she invariably led the warm-up exercises. She intentionally made the warm-up more strenuous and intense than usual, leaving everyone winded. Panting, she rushed over to me and boasted, "This intensity is just ordinary for us. The actual training will be even more challenging. It's normal for you to find it hard initially. You'll adapt with more practice." I smiled and retorted, "I'm not exhausted. I simply believe this warm-up lacks scientific basis." She grew irritated, tugged at my husband's arm, and said, "She obviously doesn't know the first thing about boxing. Why is she acting like she's an expert?" My husband shrugged her off and intervened, "Because she is. She's a professional boxer." She looked confused, and I declared, "I'll be engaging in boxing today as well. I'll use one of your punching bags." Her surprise turned into excitement, and she suggested we engage in a real spar that day. However, I declined her proposal, expressing my disinterest. She then started to insult me, saying, "I understand now. Most girls who box merely want to appear good. They're weak and frail, scared of actual combat. There are very few girls like me, strong like a man, and unafraid of getting hit. Annoyed, I decided to spar with her just to silence her. I told her, "Fine, let's proceed." She patronizingly responded, "Don't worry, I'll be gentle with you." Observing my genuine upset and unsure how to manage her constant harassment, my husband assisted me with my boxing gloves and mouth guard, advising softly, "Don't let anger overwhelm you. Simply spar with an open heart, but remain gentle." When the fight commenced, she launched at me furiously, throwing heavy punches. So much for taking it easy on me. I dodged and occasionally evaded, questioning, "Why are you being so aggressive?" She paid no heed and continued her intense assault. It was clear that she aimed to overpower the weak. If I had been a total novice, she would have bruised me badly. Having had enough of her antics, I didn't wish to stoop down to her level or defy martial principles. When provoked, or faced with the theft of their partner, even animals will fight back. The same applies to humans. Therefore, I stopped being defensive and launched a counterattack. Although I didn't go all out, I managed to land hard enough hits to inflict pain. She was no match for me and didn't last a minute. While my personality is generally reserved, I am a boxer. Martial artists should nurture their moral character and respond to strength with equal strength. They should be open to challenging those stronger than themselves, rather than preying on the weak. Having trained for a long period, she thought she could bully others. Thus, I decided to impart a small lesson. Since she preferred acting like a tough woman and one of the boys, I treated her exactly as I would treat a guy. After I handed her a beating, she finally stopped bothering my husband and I hope she's learned her lesson.
So I saw this one this morning, I'm pretty sure. And she's a badass. I love her. I love her. Her husband though, like men are weird. Men are weird. Like, why are you acting like that? I don't know. I feel like he's probably hiding something too. Cause if I was dating that guy and that guy had someone like her, I would have told him if I was in this situation. Maybe not cut her off. I don't know. But it's just like, ugh! You're gonna let a friend, your trainer, whatever, to disrespect your girlfriend, maybe even wife, because of that? Like, hello? Just fire her. When girls don't like somebody, girls don't like somebody. Like, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Men just don't understand that. Men do not understand. I hate men. I've read this one and I watched Smosh do their Reddit stories and Shane read this one. So I overheard my boyfriend say that he chose the wrong girl. I'm sorry, what?
I overheard my boyfriend say that he chose the wrong girl. For context, me and my boyfriend had been together for a total of 8 years. We met between mutual friends while I was still in school and he had just moved to my town to go to college. We were friends for 2 years before we started dating. The reason for this was because 1, I was too scared to make a move, and secondly, he was in love with one of our mutual friends. After she got a boyfriend, he moved on to liking me and we have been dating ever since. Last Saturday was his birthday and he told me he has never thrown a surprise birthday party and would like to experience one. I worked all week before Saturday, his birthday, planning and inviting people, getting reservations, buying a cake, etc. I asked his best friend to hang out with him for most of the day so that I could set up and get everyone to get here and hide for the surprise. The birthday party was a success and he was smiling the whole time. He had snuck off with his best friend somewhere. I wanted to find him so that we could sing happy birthday, cut the cake. As I was walking down the hallway, I heard him and his friend talking, so I kept walking towards their voices. I heard him tell his friend that he should have kept trying with our mutual friend. He told him that he should have been the man that was engaged to her and not her now fiancé. He said that he hated waking up to me and that he wished that our mutual friend was the one that threw him his first surprise party. He said that he felt disgusted every time he had to kiss me or hold me because he knew that our mutual friend should be in his arms instead. He said that he felt like he was stuck in our relationship and that he would end up having to marry me. He said that our mutual friend was better than me in looks from head to toe. He said that she was the most gorgeous girl I've ever seen. I went back to the party and told everyone that I couldn't find him and that we would have to wait for him to come back. When he came back, he gave me a hug and a kiss on the head and told me he loved me. I didn't want to ruin his party, so I went along with it. He doesn't know that I know he doesn't honestly love me. I've just been going along with everything. I honestly don't want to break up with him. I just want to know how I can make him fall in love with me. I don't know what I did to make him feel so unhappy, so I would like to know, how do I make my boyfriend fall in love with me, or should I just give up on our relationship? He is the first boyfriend I've ever had and I'm scared to start dating again at my age.
Girl, You gotta break up with him. You gotta break up with him, girl. In the end, you're gonna hurt yourself even more. Girl, you gotta leave. Pack up your shit and leave, bruh. That's so sad because everybody, like, all the girls think it's their fault. And it's like, girl, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's the guy's fault. It's always the guy's fault. You need to wake up and realize that. That's what I was talking about earlier, too. This is the story that I was talking about where they just, like, they think that they need to settle. But you don't. Wake up, bro. You don't need to. It's 2023. What are you doing? Like, break up. Because even if he's not a cheater, I mean, he could eventually turn into a cheater, but, like, he's not gonna be a good husband. Are you kidding? No. I don't like him. I don't like him at all. He's just a shitty dude, and he needs to get his life together and figure it out, because realize your feelings and tell her, okay? Because men are scared of confrontation. Like, it's not that hard to just tell that person that you don't like them anymore or never liked them in the first place. Like, hello? Oh my god, this one is infuriating. I guess I've read this one too. I guess we're reading ones that I've read before.
I took one for the team and dated a fat girl. Said girl is now my wife, and she just found out why I agreed to go out with her. 2 years ago, I was at a party with a friend of mine named Joshua. Josh suddenly spotted 2 girls. The one he was interested in was this pretty blonde, while the other was her beluga friend. Josh turned to me and urged me to be his wingman by taking one
Beluga.
and distracting her friend while he chatted with the blonde. After a little back and forth, I decided to just do it to be a good friend. So we made our way over and made our move, where I would go in first and start chatting with the friend while Josh began flirting with the girl he was interested in. Again, this friend I was talking to was by no means unattractive in the face, just a beluga. I thought she was very sweet, even though I was just talking to her out of obligation. It didn't really matter anyway, cause ultimately the girl Josh was into already had a boyfriend apparently, and had seemingly brushed him off, with him eventually patting me on the back to signify I didn't have to chat with her friend anymore. So I decided to politely end the conversation. However, not before she asked for my Instagram, which I decided to give her. I didn't really think much of it at the time, and I was certain I would never see her again. However, a couple days later I ran into the same girl in my school's campus store. I didn't really recognize her at first, but she seemed to know me immediately. We decided to chat for a bit, and I was reminded of her name, Megan. Anyway, it was really just small talk until Megan suddenly seemed a little awkward. I asked her if everything was alright, and she replied that nothing was wrong, but she wanted to know if I wanted to go out with her sometime. This actually came as a shock to me, as it was the first time a girl had ever made the first move.
I wonder why.
So, even though she wasn't really my type at all at the time, I said yes. And that was probably the best decision of my life. Me and Megan really hit it off, and before long we were in a serious relationship. Any qualms I had about her weight were gone immediately after the first time we had intimacy, as I actually found her body to be really soft and comforting. More to play with, as I've always said. I had never felt so relaxed cuddling with someone before I met her. And there was a lot to cuddle. We've been dating for 2 years now, and I absolutely love her. She's my everything, and I have even been thinking of proposing as soon as we are both done with school. Everything was perfect, until last month. Last month, we hosted a small get-together just for a few friends who are also in relationships, like a couple's game night sort of thing. It was here where Josh, who has been my good friend for years now, was pretty intoxicated, and made a joke about how if he had never forced me to take one for the team back then, I would have never found the love of my life. The joke didn't really register to me as anything negative, and I was also out of it, so I just laughed it off. Megan was cuddled up next to me on the couch though, and asked what Josh meant by that. I told her nothing, but Josh, being the intoxicated idiot that he was, elaborated and told her the story about how we met through my perspective. Megan just said oh, and didn't really react, so I figured she just brushed it off. However, the rest of the night she seemed kind of distant and even a little sad. Finally, once everyone had left, she let it all out and started crying. She was essentially in shock, because this whole time she thought I approached her because I was interested in her, and learning it was because I was forced to seem to bring back old insecurity within her. It doesn't help that she's actually gained weight since back then, and now is truly big, even though I don't really have any problem with that, and I've told her that multiple times. More to cuddle and more to love. I immediately gave her the full story, about how I fell for her right after that, and I have loved and adored her ever since. She seemed reassured, and we even cuddled the whole night after that. Since that night though, she's been acting differently. It's like she's lost her confidence around me. She only wears large, baggy clothing, even though she used to never before. She refuses to change with me in the room and hardly eats in front of me. Before, I used to playfully tickle her stomach sometimes, and she'd always smile and play along. Now she seems insecure when I so much as accidentally graze her. She also refuses to have intimacy without a shirt on. I miss seeing the rules jiggling sometimes. So far, I sat her down multiple times and explained that her body is incredibly attractive to me, and there's no one more beautiful in my eyes than her. But it's like she doesn't believe me. Lately, I've been thinking about offering her to come to the gym with me, but I'm scared she may be more insecure than suggestion.
Are you kidding me? Whoa, I look really muddy on camera, but I feel like I don't look that muddy in person. But are you kidding me? Like, how do you... Why do men, like, shut the f*** up. It's not that hard to shut your mouth. Men infuriate me. They're so... I can't. I hate men. How do you even do that? Like, you just f*** up everything. Like, keep your mouth shut. At least, I mean, okay, at least he came forward, I guess. But girl, it's time for him to be single. And when he said, oh, no girl has ever come up to me and asked for my number. Yeah, I fucking wonder why. Okay, and your friend Josh, dude, he's even worse. F*** him. Both of them. I don't care. No. Next one. Oh my god, this one is infuriating too. My husband told me he would choose his girl bestie over me every day.
My husband told me he would choose his girl bestie over me every day. I got married a year ago yesterday. My husband and I have been together for 5 years in total. My husband has been best friends with Sasha since they were in diapers. I knew that and I never really had a problem with her friendship until my husband and I officially started dating. Sasha would always try and get between us, and every date we went on she was there coincidentally. Which was relatively annoying because my husband would let her stay with us on all those dates. Now yesterday was my wedding anniversary and my husband forgot since he had a road trip with Sasha. I didn't know about this road trip until he said he was leaving. I didn't bother telling him it was our anniversary since he didn't remember. He would probably still spend the day with Sasha even if he did know. I didn't bother telling him why. I just walked out and decided I was going to go shopping and do something for myself. I did that, but then his mother called me during the day wishing me a happy anniversary and asked where my husband was because he wasn't answering his phone. I told her the truth about his whereabouts and he didn't remember our anniversary. She was shocked and told me that she didn't think Sasha and my husband still had feelings for each other. I asked what did she mean. She said that they did date in high school, but my husband told me that he never did like Sasha romantically. Everything started becoming more clear now. Maybe he did remember our anniversary, but chose not to say anything because he loved Sasha. If he loved her but have told me before we got married, I would have been hurt, but I understand feelings and I know you can't control them. I don't know how to comprehend anything right now. I'm numb and I don't get it. All I know is that my husband doesn't even love me. I would first like to say that not everyone's life is easy and not everyone can get just up and leave whenever. Gaslighting, manipulation, and emotional attachments also exist. Sure, some of you wouldn't stand for it and the disrespect, but I did. I made a mistake and I'm owning up to it. I really don't understand what's the point of bashing me like you know the situation. I did come here to rent and I didn't expect this to blow up like it did. But anyways, I'd firstly like to state that I grew up in the foster care system. My life wasn't the best. When I met my husband, I was overwhelmed and overjoyed at the fact that someone wanted me and liked me. When things started to progress with us, I ignored all his mistakes because I thought he would be the only person who would have accepted me. I know that it's not an excuse, but I honestly didn't have a backbone or my self-respect intact either. I was a pushover. It's also the fact that I wasn't in a great place financially and I was just so done with it. Some of you asked why I didn't set boundaries with him and Sasha. It's because they are inseparable and I was afraid he would leave me for her. I didn't want to be alone again. I wanted to be happy, you know. Some of you people think that I did it because I was desperate. Genuinely speaking, I was so very desperate because I didn't want to lose it. I took it all because I was afraid to live my childhood all over again. I didn't plan coming here and giving my life story, but here I have got now the most important part that everyone has been waiting for. My husband called me as soon as he got back. I ignored his call since I had to leave for work. I'm pretty sure he called 100 times demanding to know where I was. After work, I went straight to his home. I walked in and behold Sasha sitting on the kitchen counter chatting to my husband, smiling and laughing. At that moment, I wanted to scream and cry. I hated it. My husband saw me and came up to me asking me where the hell I was. I told him we needed to talk and took him upstairs. He asked what was up. The audacity he had. I've genuinely had enough, so I told him I wanted a divorce because he went on a road trip with another woman on our anniversary. I cried and screamed till I couldn't anymore, and all he did was effing stand there looking at me. I was so frustrated I asked him if he had anything to say, and all he said was that I shouldn't have yelled like that because Sasha was here and she would be offended if I thought that I couldn't trust her. My last effing straw. I left, and the next time I see him it's with divorce papers. I'm not going to cry any longer because I deserve better. I'm currently looking for divorce lawyers and will be starting the process as soon as I can. The audacity of that man after all I've done for him. It's clear that he chose Sasha because even though she wasn't in the same room as us, he thought of her and her feelings. I broke down in front of him and he effing thought of her.
Well, that's another reason why, bro, like, I can't, I hate men so much. How do you do that? Never trust a guy with a girl best friend, bro. Like, no. Especially, like, I feel like if, like, once you hit, like, late 20s, early 30s, early 30s is crazy. For, like, a childhood friend, and they're the opposite sex, and they're straight, I personally would not take that. As if they're childhood friends, and they've been friends for 15, 20 years, I wouldn't trust anything. Like, hello? Like, if they've been friends for that long, they must have something, like, something must have went on for them to continue being friends, right? I hate it. God, I hate men. These are more like relationship ones. I think the relationship ones are crazier. My 33 female husband, 35 male, is upset that I gave him permission to sleep with my best friend, 30 female. Oh my gosh.
My husband is upset that I gave him permission to sleep with my best friend. So about 4 months ago, my husband and my best friend of over 10 years sat me down and told me that they were very attracted to each other. My best friend is very beautiful and she is single, and to be honest, she has more in common with my husband than I do. Both are positive and energetic with a great sense of humor. That's why I love them. But more than getting along and being cordial to one another, I have never seen them being flirtatious to one another, and they always treated each other with respect, so hearing what they had to say shocked me to my core. My husband insisted that he loved me and that it was nothing more than physical attraction. They didn't want to do anything behind my back, so they were basically asking for permission to sleep together. I think that they truly believed that if they told me, it wouldn't be considered cheating and it would be easier on their conscience, I guess. I was shocked, as I mentioned, and started crying, and my best friend got very worried and started apologizing and crying too, telling me how she would never do anything that I didn't agree on or that would jeopardize our friendship, and she left quickly afterwards after apologizing a million times. Texted me apologies all night too. I just packed my bags and went to live with my father and his family with my 2 babies. It became very clear to me very soon that I acted very rash and only on my emotions, and my father didn't really show any interest in housing me for a longer period. I started regretting leaving. My husband was calling me every day telling me that he loved me and that he would never do anything behind my back or cheat on me when I asked him if they had an affair. Anyway, after 3 weeks at my father's, I started discussing my husband's wish with him, and I finally agreed. He was very glad, and he reassured me that it was just physical and that both he and my best friend weren't interested in anything else. But to be honest, by then I didn't even care. I just wanted to go home. I thought that neither my husband nor my best friend were worth me destroying my children's chance to a whole and safe home, being a child of divorce myself. My best friend called me to make sure that my husband was telling her the truth. I want to hear it from you. Are you sure? Are you 100% sure? I said yes. All I know is that they have slept together. I didn't want any details. I don't know the when. I guess it was right after I moved back home, if they weren't already sleeping together. I don't know the where, probably at her place since she lives alone. And I don't know the how often or if they still are doing it. At first my husband was cheerful, but after a while he started getting depressed. He complained that I have changed and that he missed me, and he wanted to discuss things with me, but I wasn't interested. I told him that I was giving him an unlimited pass if it meant he never talked to me about this again, but it made him more depressed. Now he started flat out blaming me for the change in our relationship. He said that I tricked him. I could have said no, because then he would not have done it if it was to affect our relationship, but instead I ran away and now I'm changed. He also said that I have cut contact with my friend even after I gave her the green light. If she knew the price was me never wanting to talk to her again, she would never have done it, so now she thinks I ruined our friendship that she cherished more than anything. I have tricked them. I have tricked him, and now I haven't even looked him in the face in 4 months. I asked him what he wanted from me now, because I truly believe that I've done all in my power to please him. Divorce? Maybe just separation? I suggested that he should see someone regarding of his depressed state of mind, but he just shook his head, told me that I didn't get it. I don't know what I'm supposed to get. I did what he wanted and I have accepted this, and our current life is my lemonade. My babies have a stable home and I am well cared for. I want to help my husband, yes, but not to the extent that it would affect me or my children. Any advice? Please, nothing about divorce, because I don't want that, and neither does my husband. Edit. Okay. Everyone is telling me that this is fake and I'm a troll. I'm sorry to have bothered you. I really thought people were more helpful. I will not bother you.
Okay, that one was a crazy story. Oh my god. Why do they not want divorce? They're just like, oh, it's just that. Like, have an open relationship or something? I don't know. I feel like they need to talk about it. I feel like someone's hiding something. There's no way. It's a little fishy if you ask me. I feel like the only best way to deal with it is to get a divorce, girl. Get a divorce. Okay. The comments, sleep with his best friend. They ruined it the second they asked. Exactly. So, she's feeling numb and just staying for her kids. She no longer has feelings for her husband. It's either she's divorced or just find an affair partner. That's what I'm saying. But I feel like even if she does, if he doesn't want her to get out, like if he doesn't want a divorce, I don't think he'd be open for her finding an affair partner. So I think maybe just like open relationship, you know? There's nothing wrong with it, I don't think. Just divorce. What's the problem? I think her husband's a weirdo, and her best friend is just as weird. And she needs to have a really long talk about, like, she needs to just be open with them and ask them why they felt like that, why they felt like they had to, you know, do it. Like, there's just a lot of questions that need to be answered. And then maybe she'll, like, get her head out of her ass and break up, sign those divorce papers. I know divorce is expensive, but girl, I think that's the only option now, because if you're just feeling numb, it's not gonna help your relationship. Might as well break up and find a new one. Next story. I don't even know how many stories I reacted to at this point. Oh god.
My wife of 2 years is cheating on me. All 6 updates today. Male 27, found out my wife, female 25, is cheating on me. As with all cheaters, she messed up. She left her second phone home when she left for work. I'm numb because I heard her phone go off and I assumed she had just left it and we were supposed to meet up for lunch later, but when I picked up her phone I saw a number I didn't recognize and the text on there said it all. It read, "I can't wait to see you tonight." Yeah, I know that maybe that's just a friend and this could just be a work phone, but my gut tells me otherwise. I've been thinking about it and she has been acting weird. She's been working long hours, she's been on 2 girls' trips this month, and she's been randomly called into work on her days off. I don't know what to do. Her second phone has a lock on it, otherwise I'd open it and read the other texts. What should I do? Update 1. I just finished lunch with her. I confronted her about the phone and the look of horror on her face broke what little hope I had left that she wasn't cheating on me. I gave her her phone and told her to open it and show me the text thread, and the messages date back to December. I asked her how long she's been cheating and she confessed. She broke down and started apologizing as I read the messages, which were like daggers straight to my heart. I asked her again how long, and apparently it's been happening our whole marriage. When I told her I don't think I could forgive her, she got mad and drove home, packed a suitcase and left. I'm sitting here on our bed with a mixture of sorrow, pain, and a desire to just wake up from this nightmare. I don't know where I went wrong. Why couldn't I be a better husband to her? I feel so lost and hopeless. She was my everything. Thank you for the support. Update 2. So today I had the locks changed to the house. I called a divorce attorney to help me and I met with him in a day, so hopefully he will take my case. I went through some of her messages and her friends' messages to me. Apparently she twisted the story to make it look like I cheated on her and she's the victim. Unfortunately for her, I took a picture of the text that said "I can't wait to see you" and sent that to her family. I'd get that will do anything but yeah. I feel insanely guilty about every text I read from her. She called me about 40 times and left voicemails, which I immediately deleted. With all the support and help from you guys, I feel like I could make it through this. Oh, also I did set a DRS appointment to get tested for STDs. Thank you for all the support. I really appreciate it. Yesterday my world fell apart and you guys are helping me pick up the pieces. My family believes in me and supports me, and my friends support me too. I still have a lot of pain in me, but I feel like I can breathe a little better, and as some of you have mentioned, that it can only get better from here. I hope this is the case because this hurt is one I never want to feel again. I'll keep you updated as it comes. Update 3. Ever since a week or 2 ago, my life has been in a downhill spiral and the hurt hurts too much. My race has been run end. To quote Lord of the Rings, there are some things that time cannot mend. Some hurts that go too deep, that have taken hold. Bilbo once told me his part in this tale would end. That each of us must come and go in the telling. It's my time to talk about life. Update 4. Thank you all of you. Thank you. I was on the couch with my gun in my hand. I was crying and I'd quiet, but I fell asleep. I woke up to my phone going off. I'm in the ER right now waiting to go to the mental health ward. You guys helped me with your love. Thank you is all I can say. I love you guys. Update 5. I'm in the mental health unit now and they allow me to have my phone for 20 minutes, so I wanted to give you an update. I've called my brother and he's going to my house to take and lock up my guns until I get through this. I'm going to be here for a week or 2 until the DRS feel like I'm not a danger to myself. Again, thank you for all your love and support, and know that you saved a life with all your loving comments. Final update. I almost made the worst decision 2 weeks ago. I almost committed unaliving over my ex-wife. I'm happy to report that I'm back from the hospital with more hope and peace than I've felt in a long time. I got out last week and since then I finalized my divorce. My friend has moved in with me to help get me through this rough patch. Also, it turns out that my ex was cheating on me with a married coworker, and when she ran to him after she left, he chose his wife over her. I don't know them otherwise. I'd let his wife know about his infidelity. My ex is now living in a motel because her friends and family, after I sent them proof, have all but abandoned her. Life is looking up, and without your kind words and support I wouldn't be here. Thank you for saving my life. Now it's time for me to love it again.
I'm gonna cry. No! Oh my god. Hopefully you could hear the story, and hopefully you could hear the other stories. But that was so sad. Oh my god. I'm happy that he's found. I'll put trigger warnings before this as well for 2 years. For their entire marriage. Are you kidding me? I feel so bad for him. Okay, listen. I know I said I hate men, right? Oh man. But this man is so... The music behind it too was like making me more emotional. I'm like, bro, what? The comments are, I hope your life flourishes and that you find someone that will complete you once more. Oh my god. The whole marriage, and girl had the audacity to be mad that he wouldn't forgive her. No, literally. Bro, somebody said, wow, should have been a better boyfriend. Boy, shut the fuck up. But that is all for today. I'm done with my makeup. I posted going over like school violations, and I said I scrapped my get ready with me for my cousin's party, but I don't think I'm gonna scrap it. I think I'm gonna post it. If not, I will link it anywhere in the video or in the description. So, bye.